Judge Tanya Chutkan rejecting that effort by Donald Trump's defense team to dismiss the indictment altogether. She is the judge in the January 6th case in Washington, D.C. Judge Chutkan regaining control of that case on Friday, and last month, the Supreme Court ruling that former presidents have immunity for official acts that were conducted while in office, but not unofficial acts. Judge Chutkan now has to decide which is which. Our legal affairs correspondent, Avajoy Burnett, is live for us in Washington, D.C. And Avajoy, why did Judge Chutkan deny Donald Trump's motion to dismiss the case altogether?
Well, she had a long list of issues that she brought up in explaining her decision to dismiss this motion, to dismiss this case against former President Donald Trump. And I want to take you guys back. This motion to dismiss based on selective and vindictive prosecution was brought all the way back in October, more than 9 months ago. But Judge Chutkan was not allowed to make any rulings on this matter because the case was on hold while the U.S. Supreme Court considered this matter and ultimately made their ruling just over a month ago that there is some presidential immunity for official acts and no such thing for unofficial acts. And in her decision to deny this request to dismiss this case, Judge Tanya Chutkan said the former president, the defendant in this case, Donald Trump, didn't really provide any proof on why this matter should be dismissed. She said there is just mere speculation in this matter. And something else that she also brought up is the fact that there has to be someone else who is similarly situated. They were in a similar situation and they were not prosecuted. And if that was the case, then the former president would not be prosecuted. But because we are in such an unprecedented area where this is the first time where we're seeing a former president prosecuted for such matters, that didn't fly. And because of that issue, that reasoning that she gave to the court, this motion to dismiss the case against the former president has been denied, Del.
Avajoy, this is where it gets confusing. The Supreme Court is saying that there is presidential immunity for official acts, but not for unofficial acts. So how does Judge Chutkan determine which is which?
So there will be a mini trial of sorts where prosecutors and defense attorneys will be able to put on their evidence to try to sway the judge, to try to make their argument in their favor. And we know that a hearing has been scheduled for next week, Friday at 9 here in Washington, D.C. And this will be a pre-trial hearing where the judge, along with all of the attorneys who are involved, will come together and try to set up a schedule so that they could work through these matters. But just to refresh everyone's memory here, there is presidential immunity for official acts, but there is no such thing for unofficial acts. So all of the attorneys who are involved will really have to bring their evidence to Judge Tanya Chutkan in the months and weeks that we will see following from this exact moment. And they really will have to try to convince her of what is an official act and what is an unofficial act. But based on the decision that the U.S. Supreme Court made just over a month ago, it is very likely that this could make it much tougher for the prosecution, for the special counsel in this case, to make the argument that Donald Trump should continue to be prosecuted. It's not going to be impossible, but it's really going to be much harder for them to make their case in this matter based on a lot of legal experts have spoken with, Del.
Avajoy, then there is the issue of we the people. Even though Judge Chutkan has the case, it doesn't mean this case will go to trial before the election, does it?
It's very unlikely that that will be the case. When the U.S. Supreme Court decided that they would take up this matter late last year, many people were watching the clock. And the fact that this particular case was the last one for the U.S. Supreme Court to decide on July 1st, it really leaves Judge Tanya Chutkan with very little runway in order to go through all of the pre-trial proceedings, figure out what's an official act, figure out what's an unofficial act, and to pretty much figure out what should remain in this indictment, this 4-count criminal indictment against former President Donald Trump. Really is going to take quite some time, and it's very unlikely that we will see a trial in this matter before the November election, Del.
Our legal affairs correspondent, Avajoy Burnett, for us on the scene in Washington, D.C. Avajoy, thank you very much.